Continuing what we started in the previous video, today we will talk about check receipts and check payment voucher. You should know that check received and check paid through the Ameen software are two-step. The first step is to issuing the check or receiving the check. The second step is when the check are due, as we have to follow up on the status of the check in the bank. This is to collect the check from the bank or return it to the customer or supplier's account. When we receive a check from a customer, we will go to the entries menu and then to the check received. Note that there is a difference between a cash receipt and a check. You will notice that there are several data that we need to record. The first is the paper number, which means the check number. The issue date is the date the check was issued, or the date of receipt of the check. The maturity date is the due date of the check. It is the date recorded on the check. As an example, I will now record the same date to see the effect. Also, receive from must be recorded, which is the name of the customer or account from which the check was received. The software can write some notes automatically. Of course, they can be changed. As for the destination, it is the name of the bank through which the check was issued. These destinations can be saved for later use or used in reports. Write notes that will appear in reports and statements. The value of the received check must also be recorded. After recording all this data, you must click on the Add button and then Save. We will now notice after adding the check that the status of the check is not received. It means that it was not collected on the bank account or in cash. Also, that an accounting entry has been generated automatically. In the same way, check payment voucher can added by going to the entries menu, then check paid. You will notice the same information except that there is a difference, which is pay to instead of receive from. You must fill in all required fields. After recording all this data, you must click on the Add button and then save. We will now notice after adding the check that the status of the check is not paid. It means that it was not paid from the bank account or in cash. Also, the accounting entry has been generated automatically. One of the most important features of the Ameen software is that it will alert you when these checks are due in the same date or before, within the alerts available on the Al-Ameen desktop. If we click on the summary on the Al-Ameen desktop, we will notice a tab showing whether there are checks due or not. On the due date of these checks, a reminder message will appear showing the number of outstanding received check and their value, as well as the number of outstanding paid check and their value. These options can be customized by clicking on the Customize icon and specifying the number of days. You can click on the Receivable button to display the details of the due received check. From this window, you can select any check to take action on, after reviewing the bank statement. You can right-click and then click on Désolé commercial paper or double-click on the check. The check information will then appear. It is known that there are two cases for a check. Either it is collected or returned for any of the known reasons. Where you can press the Events button to show these two cases. This check can be collected by clicking on Receive. You will notice that there are notes written automatically and can be changed. You must also specify the debit account as the bank account or any other account to which the check was collected. The date of the operation must be recorded. The value is the value collected from the check. Part of the check can be collected. Sometimes commissions or fines are imposed when collecting a check. These can be recorded here. In this case, the debit and credit accounts for these commissions or fines must be recorded. If the check is not collected for any reason, then you must click on the Event button and then return to the original. You will notice that the debit and credit account values are inactive. Therefore, a reverse entry will be generated to the customer's account, where only the transaction date can be changed and the imposed commissions or fines can be added to their accounts. I will do a collection on this check, for example. After completing the collection, you will notice that the check status has changed to received. An accounting entry was generated for this financial transaction. This check will not appear in the alerts window. Paid checks can also be settled in the same way. If we click on the Paid button in the Summaries window, all outstanding paid checks will appear, where the check can be paid or returned from the supplier. To settle this check in case of payment, you must click on Events, then Pay, and fill in the required fields such as the creditor account, transaction date, and fines with their accounts. Notice how the status of the check has changed to paid. Also, the accounting entry was also generated. It should be noted that a feature has been added to the Ameen software, which is a multiple receipt or multiple payment voucher. This feature can be used if cash and check are received in one voucher, or cash and check are paid in one voucher. I will give an example of receiving cash and a check from a specific customer in one voucher. I will go to the entries list and then receive with many method. Note that the table is divided into two sections: commercial papers and cash. Where the account received from must be recorded first. And the date of the entry with notes. Anything received in cash will be recorded in the cash section. As for checks, they will be registered in the commercial papers department. We will define the form of the commercial paper and the check number and other required fields. In cash amounts, the debit value, the account on which it was received, and the notes must be specified. As usual, you must click on the Add button and then Save to save this entry. In the same way, a multiple cash and check payment voucher can be entered into a payment voucher with many methods. Thank you, and I hope you have benefited from this video. Share it to spread the benefit.